to half-heartedness, Serbia still retains its rustic honesty, like its land and people. Education is one of the prides of this country. Literacy rates are almost absolute, and many young people speak fluent English, German, sometimes French or Russian. In Belgrade or Novi Sad, it is not uncommon to meet energetic students, working part-time, studying and expanding the world in foreign languages. The Serbian university system, though not rich in facilities, has an admirable academic depth and liberal spirit. It is this foundation that has created a generation of intelligent, dynamic young people ready to reach out to the world. But behind the friendly smiles, Serbia still has cracks that outsiders rarely see. Corruption, inequality, and regional disparities are still painful problems. In many places, jobs and opportunities still depend on relationships. Talented young people, although good and fluent in many foreign languages, sometimes feel held back in a system that is not truly fair. That is what leads to the migration of intellectuals, engineers, doctors, programmers who choose to leave Serbia to seek more transparent environments in Germany, Austria, or Northern Europe. Meanwhile, in rural areas, life is slower, but also harsher. Many villages in Vojvodina or the south are left with only the elderly and children. The young people left, leaving behind old houses and vast fields, quietly waiting for the new season. However, even in such circumstances, Serbs still retained something that few places have: self-respect and dignity. They may not be rich, but they are always proud of their origins. They accept reality, but never lose their pride. When you talk to a Serb, you will feel a confidence, a little sad but not pathetic, as if they understand very well. All difficulties will pass, only character remains. And that is what makes the true beauty of the Serbian people. Serbia has no sea, but possesses a natural beauty that makes anyone who has ever set foot here feel like they have just touched a symphony of heaven and earth. The nature here is multi-layered, pristine, and full of emotions, as if each land is a separate chapter in the book of creation. In the north, the Vojvodina plain stretches like an endless carpet of pearly rice and sunflowers. Small roads wind around the fields, lined with straight rows of birch trees, creating a peaceful scene that seems to slow down time. As you go south, the terrain begins to change. The Tara and Zlatibor mountains appear majestic, covered in a thin mist, and the wind rustles through the pine trees. Here, nature is not noisy or ostentatious, but quiet, like an old storyteller whispering about centuries past. In Tara National Park, morning mist hangs over the valley, while in the forest, sunlight filters through the old leaves, shining on the ground like golden threads. People often say that coming to Tara is not just to look, but to listen. The birds calling for their mates, the sound of leaves rubbing against each other, and even the sound of your own heart in that immense space. Next is the Uvac Gorge, where the river winds like a silver silk ribbon between the vertical rocks. Looking down from above, the bends almost form a spiral, reflecting the sunlight like thousands of giant water snakes moving. It is here that the griffin eagle, the bird symbol of Serbia, spreads its wings freely in the air, evoking a feeling of both smallness and awe. But if there is a place that makes people completely silent, it is Đerdap Gorge, also known as Iron Gates, Serbia's greatest natural wonder. The majestic Danube flows rapidly between two vertical cliffs, creating a great picture between man and nature. On the cliff is the stone face of Decebalus, the ancient king who seems to be watching over the centuries, reminding people of the past and the power of time. Serbian nature does not try to amaze you. It invites you to slow down, look closer, and feel with your soul. Because beauty here is not something to be captured by a lens, but to be preserved in memory, where every ray of light, every breeze, every sound of running water becomes part of your breathing. In Serbia, nature is not just a landscape. It is a whisper between the land and people. If there is a place where music is not just heard, but felt with every heartbeat, it is Serbia. In this country, culture is not in museums. It lives in the streets, in small cafes, in the brass trumpets that ring out from old alleys, and in the summer evenings when whole villages and cities join in the music. The heart of this spirit is the Guča Brass Festival, the wildest and most fiery musical event in the Balkans. Every August, the small town of Guča transforms into a giant open-air stage where trumpets sound from all directions. From pubs, from windows, from bougainvillea-covered roofs. Hundreds of thousands of people flock here, not only Serbs, but also tourists from all over the world. They come not to hear a perfect concert, but to live the music. Music that breathes from the mountains, from tradition, and from pure joy. The Guča Festival began in 1961 as a small competition between village bands. Over the past half-century, it has become a national cultural symbol, a source of pride for Serbia and the entire Balkans. Here, the music needs no translation, just the sound of trumpets, laughter, dancing feet, and javeli, a toast with rakija, the traditional plum brandy that is considered the soul of Serbia. Rakija is more than a drink, it is a symbol of friendship. A glass of rakija is a greeting, a sign of trust, and a way for Serbs to open their hearts to the world. From Guča to Belgrade, from Novi Sad to small mountain villages, the spirit of living life to the fullest runs through Serbian culture. Despite hardship, people find ways to celebrate. They sing, dance, and love life with all their hearts. On summer evenings, you will see bands playing in the streets, old people clapping, children running around, and tourists being pulled into the dance without knowing how to step. Music and joy in Serbia are not just entertainment. They are the way people keep the light in their souls, in a world full of turmoil. That is why Guča and Serbian culture in general not only surprises visitors, but also moves them. Because here, joy does not come from luxury, but from the simplicity, freedom, and genuineness of people. Situated gracefully on the banks of the Danube, Novi Sad is known as the Athens of Serbia, a city with the soul of art, peace, and freedom. No noise, no rush. This place is like a slow song, making visitors just want to stop, listen, and immerse themselves in every breath of space. From the riverside, Novi Sad appears like a classical painting. Red-tiled roofs, wrought iron balconies, and elegant Habsburg buildings reflect the pale pink sunset on the Danube. On the small cobblestone streets, cafes are hidden under the shade of trees, where people sip espresso while chatting softly about music, literature, and life. Here, everyone seems to be living at their own pace, a slow but meaningful pace. The greatest symbol of the city is the Petrovaradin Fortress, built on a high hill overlooking the winding Danube. From the citadel, you can see the whole of Novi Sad in the sunset, where the sun falls on the water, dyeing the boats drifting in gold. When night falls, the lights from the riverside shops reflect on it, making the Danube look like it is wearing a shimmering evening gown. There you can sit still, listen to the wind, and ask yourself, am I in the present or in a dream? Not only beautiful in terms of landscape, Novi Sad is also the cultural center of Serbia. Every year, it hosts Exit Festival, one of the largest music festivals in Europe, attracting hundreds of thousands of young people from all over. But even when there is no festival, the city still lives in the rhythm of music, from street bands, riverside bars, to the sound of guitars echoing in the alleys. Novi Sad is not a place you come to check in, but a place for you to stay, feel, and live with it. This city does not seek to conquer with its flashiness, but with the feeling of warmth and peace it leaves behind. Amid the fast pace of the modern world, Novi Sad is a gentle reminder. Slow down, look around, and let your soul breathe. Serbia is not a place where you just lift your camera and take a few beautiful pictures. It is a place to listen, understand, and feel with all your heart. Because the